So, hello again. Welcome back to the Hero 7 view. Got some good news and I got some bad news. Good news is we shifted the tractor out to the West End last night. Just need to get some fertiliser mixed up in the truck and then we'll take the Mitsubishi over to racetrack and go fill that up. Bad news is this GoPro Hero 13 has turned into an $846 paperweight. Not entirely, the rest of it's in the house. I had to pull the Hero 7 out of retirement, much to Chloe's dismay, and much to my dismay really, because I was really hoping to just pass it down and focus on having the new one. Well, the new one, it keeps overheating, it won't keep its charge. I don't know what the hell I've done wrong, so we're gonna have to go back to the old reliable and just hope for the best. Unfortunately, the camera angles won't be ideal because I can't see what I'm doing. In a nutshell, after the last time you saw us, when we were emptying the seed out of the truck, Dad went and took that back over to Badgingaro yesterday. He got the barley seed and we expanded some gates yesterday as well and cleared a path with the loader through the racetrack, and we got the combine shifted. The combine is currently in Clark Road at the moment. The plan is basically Clark Road is where we're going to load the seeder from where the truck will be. We'll take the truck into Clark Road through the cut fence, unload the truck into the seeder, and then take the seeder back through the gateway into Northwest. We have done a hectare of the oat in Northwest currently, and we already discovered a few little niggling issues, particularly with the press wheels. We'll get to that a bit later, but the camera wasn't behaving, the machinery wasn't behaving, the fence wasn't behaving, stuff went wrong, and I am just going to be so glad when seeding is over because I'll have proper time to nutter all this stuff out. So unfortunately I'm going to have to go back to the old reliable method of holding the GoPro Hero 7. Thankfully I have managed to get the Volta connected to that. The Volta is pretty much the only part of the entire thing that seems to be working properly. It's great because it's a tripod built into it and it's like a charger. I haven't got the little flap for my GoPro Hero 7, so I could still connect it just fine and it charges it on the go. But let's get down to the shed and let's see what Dad's doing. And in terms of rainfall, yesterday I think we got 7.5 mils tipped out of the gauge in the morning. Let's see what the rain gauge says today. Alright, 4 mil. We'll have to enter that into the Agri-Webb. And this is the 4th of July. Yeah, 4th of July today. So this tank over here, this is the water tank that's used for the chemicals and stuff. Usually this is like for the rinse tank on the sprayer and bulking up the liquid fertilizer, so to speak. Right now it's got that hose running over there, does a loop over there to this pump, and then it goes up into there, and then another hose to there, and then up into there. Now, a couple of people, particularly on the Planting the Crop 2025 Facebook group, have been asking us, what liquid fertilizer are we using? Well, it's a mix of Flexion, which is in that tank, even though it says Nutrisoil. We've got some Nutrisoil over there, and we've got some stuff that we call dirty water, and some chicken shit as well. Something that I did film with the new GoPro that I wanted to show you all before I realised that the new GoPro had all these extra issues. It's this. This is an app called Agri-Webb, and basically what it does, it's similar to like all those other farming apps that helps you keep track of your progress and stuff. We've set it up for Erinvale only recently, and it's great because it helps you keep track of where all your animals and stuff are. So you can see 240 there, 130 there, the 2 cows, all these different paddock names, and it tells you how many hectares as well. It's not ideal holding the camera like this, but so you could pretty much see where all the paddocks are across here, it's great. I haven't quite finished setting it up. I've been doing it as I go when I'm going into the paddocks, but it's still pretty good, and it's going to help us keep track of where all our mobs are, where the crops are at, what days we've done stuff to them, etc, so on and so forth. So instead of umming and ahhing like we were last year about the numbers of such and such a mob, we could just go onto the Agri-Webb app and go, oh, we drenched this mob on this day a couple of months ago, or oh, I did a trough run 2 weeks ago, I should probably go do one now, so on and so forth. I just thought it was pretty cool, and it was something that I wanted to show you. The ingredients in this concoction that's in this tank: Flexian, Nutrisoil, a bit of soil wetter, dirty water, and anything else? Oh, and water. Yeah. Basically, the idea with the liquid fertiliser is, well, for starters, we haven't got a super shed to do granular, and I also worked out that I'm slightly allergic to granular fertiliser, so that's something, I suppose. And number two, we worked out that the liquid fertiliser is actually far better at helping the crops grow than the granular fertiliser is, and it's none of that synthetic stuff. It's more of a biological sort of concoction of fertiliser that we've got running in here. And all this stuff, this is going to be going into the shuttle that's on the prototype liquid cart. I call it the prototype because we got a proper tank similar to this one, although slightly smaller, coming later down, I think later this month, hopefully. We put liquid fertiliser in the ground same time as the seed, because stuff like Nutrisoil, it has more of a better effect with the plants when it goes in the ground with the seed, as opposed to going along with the sprayer, then seed, then spray it again. We don't exactly like doing that because our only tractor that's big enough to do all this fieldwork stuff is doing both the spraying and the seeding, etc. Right, drone check, drink bottle check. The motor's got a mostly full tank of diesel. We just need to fill up that jerry can on the back of the small pump, and then we'll head out. Now, evaluating the combine's performance so far. 8 hectares or 7.5 hectares of what the Autosteer was saying, so we put in those paddocks. Those paddocks were ploughed. Now, I know a lot of people will say, why the hell did you try to plough the paddocks when that combine could direct seed anyway? The reason for that is because Rainfall is a stock block, and for the past 4 years that we've owned this place, apart from Pine Tree Paddock when we direct drilled that in 2023, none of the other paddocks have had a crop in them since 2021. And since then they've all had sheep on them, they've all had cattle on them, and that creates a level of compaction in the soil. After we sowed that crop in 2023, they came and did some work on power lines. Western Power did, and they brought an excavator along. And that excavator dug a little bit of a hole. And we worked out from that hole that the stuff that was dug up, it was growing a lot better than the stuff that hadn't been churned up. So our theory was that the soil was so compacted that it needed ploughing. That's the reason why this year we decided to use the John Deere plough. I think it's a Sovereign, I think someone pointed that out. That's the reason why we used it, to try and loosen up the soil and hopefully make the crop germinate and grow better. Did it do a decent job? Well, considering the fact that I had never run a plough before, I had only ever done Kelly chaining, which is more of a disc harrow than it is a plough, and Dad hadn't ploughed in 15 years, so apart from doing fire breaks, we were basically trying to relearn how to use that plough, and mistakes happened. The end result, it just made that paddock a bit too rough, both of those paddocks. Now officially we deemed those paddocks Hospital Paddock 1 and Hospital Paddock 2, and Hospital Paddock 1 had a lot of rocks in it, as you saw in that previous video, but basically the plough left the ground a bit too rough, and as a result it made the combine have a few teething issues. Now earlier on this year you would have seen videos, those who aren't new around here, you would have seen me try to give a demonstration of how to put tines, points and boots on. Most of that was my job, and as it turns out the plates that reinforce the seed boot and the chutes of the hose brackets, well, a lot of them came loose. All of the ones that came loose were the ones that I did. So yeah, it's rookie error, rookie mistakes. Bear in mind, this is my first proper year of arable farming, so these things happen. Next year I'm going to be a bit better at it, hopefully. It's just a matter of trying to get that experience to learn from the mistakes and move on. That's how we learn. A lot of the issues we were facing with the combine were that one hose bracket. I think it was the number 4 hose bracket on tower number 1 on the left hand side of the combine from the tractor cab. That one broke off 3 times. And this was all due to the rocks. I did say to Dad that I wanted to use the big rocket picker, but Dad said, no, we'll just use the rock bucket. Oh, that worked out well, didn't it? But I mean, I get it. That paddle bucket is quite the tricky thing to put on. But northwest paddock, that still has quite a few rock, but this time round we're not going to plough it, we are just going to direct drill it. Regardless of that, overall the combine's been pretty solid. The fan assist has been working, although we did have one chute block up because it had a bit of sand in it that we didn't catch on earlier. Well, one of the bearings where the press wheels went, that's something we'll have to change out for next year because we'll need to find parts. We're not sure if Borgolt still make those kinds of press wheels or not. The combine was put through the ringer in those first 2 paddocks because of the rocks, because of the rough seed bed the plough left. Last night when we did that 1 hectare of oats, the combine did okay. Most of it was fairly smooth sailing, although one of the press wheels did leave slightly less of a deep seed bed than the others. Now we did have 7.5 mils tipped out of the gauge yesterday, plus the 4 mils that we tipped out this morning. That brings us up to about 11.5 mils over the past 2 days. The crop still needs a bit more to germinate. At the time recording this, currently the weather apps are forecasting we'll get a drop of rain on Sunday and Monday after Dad's birthday. So hopefully if we can get the crop in the ground, like all of the oats in the ground today, and we can switch over to barley tonight and have that all finished off tomorrow, hopefully it will do well. However, the tractor's got some issues too, because, well, the Autosteer is one thing, but we had to refill the hydraulic oil on it on the first night because, well, it started making a weird noise. And anyone who's ever driven a tractor will tell you if the tractor starts making a weird noise, you stop and you check. Hydraulic oil was out. That's the consequences of not doing proper service, making sure everything's covered. We've got that filled up now, but then we discovered a fuel leak. Now, the John Deere 7810 that we have is the 5,630th ever made. It's a 1997 model, and I'm assuming it's one of the first couple thousand to end up in Australia. And the fuel line rubbed through because another bush mechanic fix that Dad did on a couple of years ago rubbed against that critical metal fuel pipe, made that rub through. We went to AFGRI on Wednesday. AFGRI told us that part is obsolete. Now, this is the interesting thing. You would have thought a brand like John Deere would have thought ahead of time and decided to standardise all their tractor parts. Well, there is no such thing as standardisation when it comes to John Deere. Let me explain. A particular tractor, which was one of the first batch of 1997 John Deere 7810s to be made, that has one of the first engine types of 15. Now, one would have thought that John Deere, across the whole run of tractors, when they built the 7810s from 1997 through to about 2001, 2002, they would have thought ahead of time and decided, right, well, we'll make the one standard engine across all the 7810s. Wrong. There's 15, I kid you not, there's 15 different types of the same bloody engine in that one tractor, because ours is part of the first model year of 7810s. They don't make parts for that particular type of engine anymore. Parts bloke, he was very kind to us, he was very understanding because he was still learning all this too. He said they don't make that particular fuel line anymore. And we had a good chuckle about this as he showed us all the different types of 7810 engines, and we're going, what were they thinking? Now, I know some people have discussed the right to repair stuff going over in America. I mean, sure, that's all the computer software type of thing, and that affects all the new stuff, and it's one of the factors, the reason why we haven't traded stuff in on newer models, because we were of the mentality, if it pulls its weight and we don't need to upgrade it, there's no need to sell it off or anything. Well, right to repair the computer software of those tractors is one thing, but when they don't make that part for a tractor that's not even 30 years old yet, that is scary. And the reason why that's scary is because if they don't make the fuel line for that tractor, what else have they stopped making? And are there any other tractors of particularly popular models? Because the 7810 is a pretty bloody popular tractor. If they're not making that one part for ours, how many parts did they stop making for other tractors? Like say a 9400 or an 8310 or 8110 like Grand Hilbert's got in the US. Those are popular tractors and they stopped making parts of them. It's like all this planned obsolescence stuff, but that's beside the point. When we were told that there was no more fuel lines being made for it, it's like, shit, our tractor's obsolete. What do we do? Because we're down to the one tractor, we can't afford to get a new one. It's cheaper to get an articulated four-wheel drive tractor than it is to get a front wheel assist. Something's clearly wrong if a front wheel assist tractor like a decent 400 horsepower front wheel assist is costing 700 grand. That is something seriously wrong. Hello sheep, don't mind me, just passing through. Anyway, so we've patched the leak in the fuel pipe so it was going to hold for right now. But when everything calms down and all the seeding's done and the tailing's done, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take that part off and we're going to need to get that brass welded, which, well, it's the only thing we really can do, because the alternative is to find a parts tractor of that specific age, and nobody's going to have a part 7810 of that age, not in WA, and not many people are going to be willing to let that particular part go for very cheap either. The 7810 is not the first tractor that we've had after go and say, uh-oh, they don't make that part anymore, you're going to need to find it off the parts tractor or fix it yourself. The 8760, the channel's poster boy, that has been sold for a couple of years now. The 8760 tractor, we tried to order parts for that back in 2018. And Adri and Geraldton, they were not very keen to let the parts go to us because they were all about trading in the old one for a more modern one. As I said in the past, there's a very good reason why new tractor sales are at a 5-year low in Australia. And it's because of our drought and flooding rain problem. Working around the seasonal conditions that farmers have to put up with all day, every day. And when people are tightening the books, trying to stay afloat in uncertain times, we cannot afford to trade up a tractor every couple of years, because you get 2 or so bad years in a row, suddenly you're not able to pay the finance on that piece of machinery, and the bank takes it off you. The reason why a lot of people tend to go with older tractors instead of the brand new ones, because not only are they models that are cheaper to buy, they're also cheaper to run. None of that computer nonsense going on in them, particularly the older 1990s tractors. Here we are. Welcome to what will eventually become a gate, maybe. This is the part of the fence between Racetrack and Park Road, right next to Barbed Wire Henge, sorry, where we tried to lay the fence down yesterday, but that was strained too tight, so just had to leave it. Here we are. Looks like Dad's crawling underneath trying to fix something. we are away. The first time Dad took me to the Rainfall, just after Mum and Dad put a deposit down on it back in 2021, took me up here for the first time and said this paddock and Clark Road would be the paddocks where we could put a crop in. It may have taken 4 years, a lot of hardship, and a shit ton of things have happened since then, but we're doing it. We're actually seeding this paddock. Practically out of oats. So Dad's taking the Uncle Ken out with the barley seed and we're going out with the Kubota. We've got the blue trunk in the back. That's going to help fill up the combine itself. And we've got a rag, a couple of rags. And we'll need to scrape out the oat seed at the bottom. And hopefully this all works out. Well, all the stuff going wrong is just doing my head in. Right, one filling up session later and we're ready to put barley in the ground. Because the auto steer is not working, Dad's got to freehand it and he reckons we'll just do one lap around and then just start going up and back. Normally this would be the part where I'd jump in and have a go, but well, the only previous time that I've driven the combine, it was with auto steer, and without it, overlapping all over the place. So I think we'll let Dad do the lap, do a couple of up and backs, and then yeah, here we go. And we are away. I don't know what it means, but basically the Autosteer's partially working on the up and back now. You know what that means? Let's find a good spot to launch the drone. We'll set it back up into the air and we'll have some pretty cool drone shots.
suppose that's one way to spend your 53rd birthday on the combine seeder. 53rd, no. 54. Yeah. That's 54 today, I think. And instead of doing what any other 54-year-old would be doing, looking forward to a lunch, having become a hub, instead Dad's on the tractor seeding on his birthday. If I got out here early enough, I would have been the one on the tractor. I was hoping to kick Dad out of the tractor cab today and let him do my job, but seems not. Still won't turn on, and two, the donga no longer has power, so even if we managed to miraculously get the seeding done fast today and sat down and had a live stream of having Dad playing Farming Simulator 25 for the first time, we still can't do that because, well, new GoPro hasn't got any power to it whatsoever, and the donga also has no power, so my computer won't work. Something really doesn't want me to edit videos. And so the furthest lever,
that's up and down.
Push it forwards up, pull it back down.
Pull it back up, push it forwards down.
Okay.
See the ram?
Okay.
Just pull back to left.
Okay, just double checking.
And that thing's, apart from when you stop, you gotta flick it up like down, and that'll turn the
painting the lines off.
Yeah. Took a while to load again this morning. It loaded okay, and then I just had to get the right paddock.
So apart from that, it's pretty much been smooth sailing?
Well, yeah, I had to put this in a different spot. It wouldn't go down, just stay up. But yeah, everything was cold and nothing wanted to boil, didn't want to flow this morning. So we'll run out of liquid well before we'll run out of seed now.
Okay, so in other words, we may need to go fill up the liquid before we fill up the seed.
Well, when we fill the liquid up, we'll top the seed up.
Alright.
As long as we keep that seed topped up,
we'll be right.
Yeah. You don't want to stop too long. You've got to let the tap half on and then race in and go, otherwise you waste too much liquid fertiliser.
She's pulling up a few rocks.
Yeah. Just really need it. Chisel plow and a big grip.
Yeah. Oh well, that's an idea for next year. Right, Autosteer is engaged. We're in C2. Should probably push it up a little bit. 1850, 1860. We're seeding. We're doing it. I'm driving the seeder that I've helped put together. This is great. Right. We're filling the tank up now, and we've already got a problem. Remember a couple of videos ago when we were putting the boot, the point, and the holder brackets onto the tine here? Well, yeah. Direct drilling has its faults too. This was the example one. And as you can see, normally there'd be a great big point right here, but there isn't. We snapped one. Now, this is a common occurrence on every single kind of seeder. You always snap at least one point or something on seeding during seeding time. It happens. Oh, look at that. This has come loose too. That's gonna need tightening. These things always happen because when these points are in the ground, they wear through, which is how they get so shiny. And well, when they get too shiny, they get too brittle, and suddenly, bang, point comes off. Did I snap the point? Probably. Or was it Dad? We don't know yet. All I know is, on the second pass that I did, going back up the hill, the tractor nearly stalled, so I had to push it down a gear. Around that time, that's probably when this snapped due to a dirty big rock. Oh look, there's a geyser. Well, these points, they were second-hand along with the combine anyway. We were expecting some of them to wear through. It just happened to have to be on the last day of seeding. It's alright, it's okay. We can fix it. Just means that if Dad can't find any in the tractor cab, which I'm pretty sure there isn't, we'll have to go home, get some of the spares, bring them back out and fix. Decent points.
That one there is really new. A little bit worn off it. Yeah, this lot. Take this lot out.
Those
some
are
raw, some aren't. Is there 2 bundles or one in there? Yeah, these are the good ones.
Right, we're back. So the plan is start the truck, start the tractor, start the GPS. And because it's Dad's birthday today, and he was actually really enjoying driving the tractor, I'll let him have it what he wants for his birthday, so it'll be me back on the side-by-side picking rocks and sticks and stuff. But if it makes Dad happy, so be it. Oh, I hope so. Otherwise we'll be in trouble. Yeah. I was hoping to do all my filming today with the GoPro Hero 13, but what can you really do? New bloody technology doesn't work. At least the Hero 7's somewhat reliable. Not ideal. I wish this thing had Bluetooth, but what can you really do? Other news. We worked out the reason why the donger has no more power. The extension cord plug is burnt out. Something overloaded it. Probably down to the fact that it was trying to power 2 computers, a bug zapper, bar heater, and charge my overheating GoPro all at the same flippin' time. That's just the consequences of our actions. In future, we won't need to worry about that problem because hopefully my bedroom will be done very soon. But here we go, back in the saddle. According to the Autosteer, we've done 20 hectares so far. Our target, even though I said 28 hectares left to go on the shorts, our target is roughly around 35 to 40 hectares. So if if we could get it all done today, that'll be ideal. We're hoping to get another couple of fills of liquid fertiliser in the shuttle there, and another couple of fills of barley seed. And Dad's back in the tractor cab because, well, one, he's more comfortable about doing the tractor driving, and he said to me when we stopped for a coffee to get the points from the shed, he said, I was actually enjoying driving that tractor, and I was really nervous about driving the tractor, so there you go. Dad's in his element once again, seeding on his birthday, something that's never happened in the past, but here we are 54 years later. Now some of you have left a comment on when we were on that short video seeding the drone footage, and some of you are saying, oh, let's bring out the phone and read the comments, shall we? Peeler says, awesome setup, mate. I hope you get some rain soon. Thank you for the kind words, mate. Yes, we are expected to get some rain soon. That's the reason why we're trying to get it all done today, because 2 p.m. tomorrow, currently the weather forecast says 2 p.m. tomorrow we're going to have another cold front coming through, which should hopefully bring some rain. Weather apps are debating how much rain we'll get out of it though. Weather Zone reckons 1 to 5 mils, which is kind of disappointing. Willy Weather reckons 5 to 10 mil or 10 to 15 mil. We're hoping that Willy Weather's more correct on this because it's also been more accurate. Because keeping in mind that Weather Zone said less than 1 mil back in February when we got that huge dumping of 20 mil of rain. And well, so did Willy Weather, but nobody was really expecting that. So Sean left a comment as well. He said, leaving a bloody nice finish. Well, here's that bloody nice finish up close for you. Yeah, I agree. It's doing a very good job. These knife points that we've got on it, that came with the combine, they're leaving an incredibly nice finish. Very good trash flow. Pity about the rocks though. That's my job. I've been told that I need to pick rocks and shit, so that's what we'll need to do. Not like I've been picking rocks for the past 2 months or anything. But yeah, take a look there. Down there where all the headlands are. And all of that. Don't mind that little tiny strip up the back there. I was trying to do a skip run, but the auto steer made me come down on this line. But apart from that, you take one look at all this going, wow, that's a lot. And then you look at the GPS and the GPS tells you, nah, you've only done a little amount. Well, I suppose looks can be deceiving, aren't they? We are really impressed with how the combine's performing. Really happy. Really nice finish, really nice trash flow. And the best part is, instead of the split points, which have almost like an arrow formation, which leave a really rough finish, our combine, which has straight knife point, nice clean cut. You can take one look at this, and if it weren't for the rocks, if this were in Farming Simulator, well, there's a very good chance that it would be leaving the rolled texture. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Editor Johnny Man, let's bring up some FS25 content footage, shall we? The rolled ground in Farm Sim is basically like the rock rollers. Even though it reckons you get a yield bonus if you rock roll, really the rollers in real life, all they really do is just push the rocks down. It leaves a nice finish like this, whereas if you direct drill it, or cultivate it and then drill it, it leaves this stubbly type texture that I don't really like. That's not really accurate to how it really is, but take one look at that compared to this. Real big difference. Of course, the problem with planting this late on the 5th of July is, well, is it going to grow? We sprayed pre-emerge, as I already stated earlier, which is one factor that is different from 2023. Factor number 2, which we still need to rely upon, is the rain. Currently the clouds are making streaks, almost like they sent the cloud air seeders over. I mean, it's pretty sky, it's just, we really need the clouds to be built up a lot more than that. And they need to be dark built up in order to get some rain out of it. The ideal situation is we need at least 10 to 15 mils to get this up out of the ground and the constant rainfall. They're still reckoning that we're going to have a wet spring, but we need a wet July. We can't have a May type situation where there's barely any rain. Okay, we got a couple of bursts of 5 to 8 mils, but that wasn't really enough for our break to the season, because our soils compared to Nelly Creek, on Nelly Creek it was all granite country, so it's really like granite, gravel. It would soak in really well because the soil content was there. With this, all this sandy stuff, okay, on the camera it may look like, oh, we got some nice dark soils. Well, actually the reason why the soil looks dark right now is because we've got the soil wetter combined with the moisture in the liquid fertiliser mix. You can see right now we're in the hollow soil. Is what you call non-wetting soil. That's the reason why you get paddocks like boggy Utes, which are very, very, very difficult to get stuff to grow, because you need a lot of rain to go into the soil and the soil soaks it all up. If you get a green drought, which is really what the past 2 years have been, where the feet's barely poking up out of the ground in July, when really it should be this tall off the ground, at least touching the Kubota's floorboards. You need a lot of rain to get it up to that height. Well, the past couple of years just haven't had enough rain. 2022, that was when the rain really came. It came down to the point where the non-wetting soils, they had so much water in them that it made a lot of puddles. And that marshland country in Middle Paddock was flooded. It temporarily made this and the gator into 4-wheel boats. That's how wet it was. Right now that marshland, barely any water in it at all. And as for our seed depth, see barley seed there, another barley seed somewhere in amongst here. Yeah, barley seed there, barley seed there. We've got decent seed to soil contact, which is what the press wheels are designed for, but it's not exactly ideal because one of the press wheels has a bearing gone in it, and that middle gang of press wheels, which we've seen earlier, that has a pin missing. That's the reason why it's rolling on the ground when the rest of the combine is up in the air. We're not sure if we were supposed to take all the pins out and it's supposed to be like that, or what. Either way, if we're going to get some lease ground in the next couple of years, we need to get that fixed, because that would require taking the combine down the road. And for those wondering where Bindi Sue is, Bindi Sue's at home. She decided that she was going to be a couch potato kelpie today. She didn't like the cold weather this morning. Did I get that? I didn't like it either, and so did the Kubota. It took a couple tries to get her fired up. This machinery don't like cold weather, and they don't like extremely hot weather either. These all machines, in my humble opinion, are very temperamental. May not look like it exactly, but he's definitely having fun in there. And over there, you can tell which passes I did. These 3. And that strip down there. Bearing in mind that I've never driven a combine before. Well, not our combine. This was the first time that I've driven our combine today. Sure, those who've paid attention to the community page would know that I did drive Peter and Liz's 511, and I just happened to be the one driving it when the poor thing self-retired. Said that though, that 511 used to belong to the Clawson, who were the people that owned this farm before us. And you could tell, I knew that something was going to go wrong with that the day that I saw it. This is an interesting specimen. Rocks like this are what I call silent but deadly. They're pulled up by the air seeder, but they're also covered over by the press wheels. So you don't know they're there until you hit it. And when I was driving the rock picker on the other side of the district, there were a lot of rocks like that. Thankfully there's not too many big ones over here, but still. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling. I'll jump cut here and stop boring you guys to death with my picking up rocks, because it's a long and boring job. So we'll see you when something interesting happens. Right, so we reached the point in the day where we're very close to where Dad ran out of chemical with the sprayer. While I went home and had some lunch and troubleshooted my new GoPro, still haven't got that going, by the way, even though I chucked it in the fridge for half an hour. In the meantime, Dad's gone and continued going up and back to the point where he's nearly at the point where he's reached the part where the sprayer ran out of pre-emerge. Now, there's 2 laps of the headland where that's been. We're debating, do we do the stuff that's run out and make it nice and even with the up and backs, or just do the headlands where the chemical's been sprayed? Personally, I like the idea of doing the 2 rounds where the spray's been, as pre-emerge has already been put out, so it's going to kill off the weeds. May as well put the barley in the ground there, and if we have any left over, we might fill in the stuff where it hasn't been sprayed. The trouble with the not sprayed stuff is the weeds are going to choke it out and it's not going to grow. I just really hope the rain does come, because if it doesn't, well, it's going to be kick up the balls. That's what it's going to be. So what we're going to do through here, Dad's just going to fill all this section in, and I'm going to continue picking rocks. I haven't brought the drone with me because the drone's run low on battery as well, and because the dongle lost power last night, tough shit, haven't been able to charge it, but we're very close. Dad's reaching the point where he's getting tired of this, and honestly I can't blame him. I'm getting tired of it as well. We're nearly there. Seeding 2025 is nearly done. Crop grows to the point where we can harvest it, the crop may not look the greatest from the air, as not all of this paddock will be filled in. There will be some spots that we've missed. That's okay, that's just what we have to deal with. Some spots, like between those trees there, we need to account for the fact that when we go to harvest this for seed, we've got a 36-foot draper front on the 9760 STS header, and these trees, there's not enough room to get a 36-foot front through there. Well, even though compared to most of the big time operators, which now mostly run 45-foot draper fronts, and some that may be trading up to the CR11s, AF11s, X9s, etc., some people may have gone to 50-foot fronts. We're still puttering along with a 36-foot, and that's still a pretty big header. We could go smaller with the draper front if we really wanted to, but they don't make 25-foot fronts in Australia. At least you can't get one from the likes of Africa for our particular header. You always have to go and buy them second hand, and often there won't be a draper front, there'll be a tin front. And tin fronts are not a very good idea for down here, because down here, despite the fact that we've had green drought for the past couple of years, we still get enough rain to rust it.
it. That's
Okay.
all the sprayed country.
And then we're done.
We're done. I don't know if we've got enough liquid to get near it back. Might do.
Might do. Alright, liquid's rolling. Go, 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 go! One more pass up and back and then we're finished. Right, let's go tractor chasing to the last of the sprayed country and then we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, the last pass of seeding 2025 on Rainfall is underway. It's just on dark now. Tines are out of the ground for the final time for 2025. Seeding is done. We did it. I wish I could have live streamed this. We could have had chat going wild, or nobody at all, but there we are. It is finished. And there he is, the great man. Everybody give it a round of applause to Murray, my dad, who has done pretty much 90% of the tractor driving for this year. Do you have any comments for our viewers, Dad? What you thought about seeding this year?
I'm glad it's finished.
Yep. And just on dark too.
Yeah. As soon as I turned the lights on, the voltage alarm came on the GPS. So I think the alternator's on the way out.
Okay. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we'll call it this video here. Seeding is done. So glad it's over. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with us for the past 6 months as we put this plan into action. And like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought. And yeah.
Alright, well, what are we going to do? Pack up everything in the morning or what?
Pack up everything in the morning. I think it's time we take you down to the pub for a celebration. My shout. So I think what we'll do, we'll take the gator. Just please stick together.